When 6-year-old Giovanni Chulo Jennings was found dead in his Michigan home, the town of Madison Heights was gripped by a tragedy beyond comprehension. As details of his short, tortured life emerged, one question echoed in everyone's mind. How could those meant to protect him become the architects of his suffering?
The victim in this case is Giovanni Jennings, known by his family as Chulo. Chulo was 6 years old, and he died from blunt force trauma to his abdomen and a perforated bowel after a lengthy period of confinement and abuse. The Wayne County Medical Examiner determined that the manner of death was homicide.
Giovanni Jennings was known to his loved ones as Chulo, a nickname that matched his endearing personality. A kind and curious child, he radiated innocence and joy in the rare moments he was allowed to be himself. But behind closed doors, Chulo's life was far from the happy childhood every child deserves. Living with his mother, Elaina Jennings, and her boyfriend, Giacchina, Chulo endured a home environment that could only be described as a living hell.
But it was clear from the evidence that we saw that there was a pattern of abuse that led to Chulo's death. My office, in conjunction with the Madison Heights Police Department, has spent the last week performing an intensive review of every piece of available evidence.
Far from a haven, their house on Dartmouth Street became the stage for unspeakable cruelty, a dark secret hidden from neighbors and friends. Investigators later described Giovanni's home as a place of calculated and deliberate torture. At the heart of his torment was a pinned area where Chulo was confined for long periods. It was a cage, cruelly restricting his movement, sunlight, and any semblance of a normal childhood. Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos. Surveillance cameras monitored his every move, but not for his safety. Elaina and Daniel allegedly watched Chulo's suffering unfold on these cameras, deriving twisted amusement from his agony.
Both Jennings and Giacchina laughed about the photo and Giacchina's use of the staple gun to solve, quote, the problem. According to the text, Chulo was being punished in this manner for looking out the window in the pen area.
They laughed as he cried, treating his pain as entertainment rather than a desperate plea for help. But the abuse didn't stop there. Chulo's fragile body bore the evidence of relentless beatings, starvation, and cruelty. He was shot with a BB gun, his body punctured with wounds that told a story of unimaginable suffering.
Based on that additional evidence, today, my office amended the charges against the defendants to include murder and child abuse in the first degree.
Day by day, the abuse chipped away at his physical and emotional strength. On July 31st, 2024, the unimaginable happened. Giovanni's small body succumbed to the years of torment he had endured. The official cause of death was blunt force trauma to his abdomen, resulting in a perforated bowel.
On July 30th, 2024, at 2:34 p.m., Elaina Jennings called 911 to her home and indicated that her 6-year-old son was passed out and unconscious. Chulo was rushed by ambulance to Ascension Macomb Oakland Hospital, transferred to the Detroit Medical Center, and ultimately succumbed to his injuries around midnight on July 31st.
Medical examiners described his injuries as consistent with sustained, repeated abuse. When paramedics arrived, they were met with a heartbreaking scene. Chulo's lifeless body bore bruises, lacerations, and scars from prolonged suffering. It was a horrifying picture of a child who had endured too much for too long. Elaina Jennings and Giacchina showed no signs of remorse. Their cold demeanor shocked even the most seasoned officers. It was clear that their calculated actions were driven by something far more sinister than negligence. In the wake of Giovanni's death, both Elaina and Daniel were arrested and charged with first-degree murder and child abuse.
The allegations are that Jennings falsely told police that she left Chulo with his biological father when she went to work that morning, and that Chulo was uninjured prior to being with his father. Police located and arrested Chulo's father, and based on information provided by his father, subsequent investigation quickly revealed that the child's father was not anywhere near Chulo's location that day, and that defendant Jennings had provided false information to police. Last week, my office filed charges against his mother, Elaina Jennings, and her boyfriend, Daniel Giacchina, for lying to the police, and additional charges against defendant Giacchina for improperly possessing weapons and ammunition because he was already a convicted felon.
Giacchina faced additional charges for illegal firearm possession, including the BB gun used to inflict pain on Chulo. As investigators delved deeper into the case, they uncovered a disturbing pattern of deliberate, systematic abuse. Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald did not hold back in her condemnation, calling the acts heinous and inhuman. Neighbors were stunned. Many described the couple as private, but otherwise unremarkable. The Jennings-Giacchina household rarely interacted with the community, and there were few outward signs of the horror taking place inside.
I was devastated. It was heartbreaking. It really was.
Madison Heights, a quiet suburb of Detroit, was shaken to its core. Vigils were held in Giovanni's memory, with mourners lighting candles and leaving toys and flowers as tributes to the little boy who suffered so much. The tragedy prompted an outpouring of grief and outrage. How could such cruelty go unnoticed? Were there missed opportunities to save Chulo? These questions loomed large as child advocacy organizations called for systemic changes to protect vulnerable children like Giovanni. As Elaina Jennings and Daniel Giacchina await trial, the case has drawn national attention. Prosecutors are pushing for the maximum penalty, life in prison without parole. Legal experts predict a long and harrowing trial, one that will force the community to relive the horrors Chulo endured. The evidence is overwhelming. Surveillance footage, witness testimonies, and the physical scars left on Giovanni's body. But no sentence will ever bring Chulo back or erase the pain he suffered. Giovanni's death has ignited debates about the role of social services and the warning signs of abuse. Could someone have stepped in earlier? Were there cries for help that went unheard? The case serves as a grim reminder of the need for vigilance and compassion. It highlights the importance of recognizing the signs of abuse and taking action to prevent tragedies like this. Giovanni Chulo Jennings is gone, but his story remains a powerful call to action. His life and tragic death have left an indelible mark on those who hear it, a reminder of the urgent need to protect the most vulnerable among us. In his memory, the community of Madison Heights has vowed to do better, to fight harder for children like Chulo, and to ensure that his voice is never forgotten. As the legal battle unfolds, one thing is clear. Chulo's legacy will not be one of suffering, but of change and hope for a better future. Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos.